Testing 1, 2, 3. Alright, sorry. I'll make sure this thing works. Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate the introduction. I'm going to speak something here for Corey. It is not in normal sense a religious thing. It's me, a eulogy spoken to him as a friend. It's a bit of a story too. Originally I didn't know what to say, I really didn't, and what I came up with didn't seem to be enough, but this is what I had. In every mythology on earth, there's at least one character, be it a spirit, animal, or a person with tricks who fulfills a certain role. This role, also known as an archetype, is that of the trickster, a character unbound by tradition or rules, expectations, or morality. And in some tales, they are shapeshifters or masters of disguise, but in every situation they are quick of wit, sharp of tongue, and fleet of foot when the first two fail them. They see and understand things in a way that defies normal reason, piercing through layers of ignorance or deception to perceive the truth. There is a reason for the way they are this way. It is because, honestly, they do not really fit into our world. Their views and opinions can seem strange sometimes to the rest of us, those who conform to life. They are unbound and always searching for something, wanderers on their own path with a goal that only they seek. If there's ever a living person who could embody this trope of literature, it would have been Cora. Let me tell you about him. Now, I say the term trickster, and the first word in it is obviously it is derived from tricks. To Cora, jokes were second nature. Humor was in his blood, and no one was ever safe for some of his sneaky little pranks. If ever there was someone both knew how and delighted in getting a reaction from someone, it was Cora. What you may not know is why he did this. It is because, for as strange as Cora may have seemed to us, looking into him, we seem just as strange looking out. His tricks served a purpose. He wanted to understand other people. In pulling pranks or otherwise getting a rise from us, we would reveal things about our natures that were not immediately obvious. In pulling those tricks on us, we came to know a little more about him as well. We placed down yet another unique memory, not easily forgotten of him as he did so. Even in so doing, sometimes we wanted to maul him for the things he did. Sometimes he was really good at his job. But it is his job to do this. It was his job to poke us with a pointy stick when our egos were getting too big. And while that often resulted in grief for us, it was never done out of malice or hatred. Cora never tricked anyone to cause suffering, only amusement and understanding. It helps to remember this, as Cora will no longer be able to do this for us. I can say with complete honesty that Cora lived for the trick. We may have a more modern name for that term now, a slightly less respectful term, but everyone here who knows it understands what I mean. Just make the substitution in your head one word for another and you'll know what I'm talking about. For in honor of his memory, I am pulling a trick for him now. All of you who know this will smile, and for the rest of you, I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. I, for one, will miss these tricks he pulled and the things he has done, but only because the thought of them is linked forever to an image of his smiling face in my mind. I hope that in the world beyond this one, he is smiling now in appreciation of this. In case you may or may not have noticed, these tricks can make people upset, but they are not the sole defining feature of what I compare him to. For what good would one of these people be if they were not smart beyond measure and cunning beyond believability? I don't think I will ever know, because these were qualities that Cora had in abundance. There's not a single person who knew him and could say that he was in any way dumb or slow or dull or boring. There is plenty of people who could say he did foolish things on occasion, as we all do, and crazy things, absolutely. I don't need to go into details about this, for I'm sure you have your own memories of things that make you smile. He had a way of seeing things that would seem strange to us. Some things which were immediately obvious to us would confound him greatly. Other things we try to keep secret, he could see with his insight and intellect and pierce effortlessly. Often he would then pull some little trick on us or some little joke, but what did you expect? I have secrets, we all do. I can honestly say he figured out some things I thought were secret forever. But there was no malice there when he did this. For all the things he discovered, none were ever used to cause pain or suffering. And despite some of his foolishness that he had done, he had both loyalty and discretion to his family and his friends, and he would not give his secrets away to anyone else. That alone is worth the price of a few poor choices or a few sore spots from our past. I can forgive him easily for all these things. I hope you can as well. Some may say that there was great potential in Cora that was never put to use. While this may be true, do not let what could have been detract from what was, from what we have left, and from what Cora would want us to have. Our favorite trickster has gone on his journey now, and will need more of these things from us. In our lives, we find many paths to walk. As I was saying before, the trickster knows them by heart. Some are safe and easy. Some wander through metaphorical woodlands and mountains, down roads wide and narrow. There is another path, too, one that boots through the swamp, where 3 miles of slog can get you as far as one on the normal road. There's in the military, we call this the hard way. Cora loved that road. When it came to the easy way or the swamp, he picked the swamp every single time. But he had a reason for this. He did this because he was searching for something. And what he was looking for could not be found on the roads that the rest of us walked. Sometimes it led him down dark paths where the rest of us could not go. He would walk apart from us for a time, sometimes even for years, occasionally calling out from darkness. Eventually, however, our paths would merge once more with any of his friends, and when he did, we could share the tales of our journeys. I could see he paid a toll to walk this path, for each time he lost a little part of himself along the way. Each time there was somehow less we left. A terrible price he willingly paid to achieve his goal, to find what he sought. What was he searching for? What is it that he valued so much? The irony is that what he sought was something he himself possessed in abundance, but very few other people did. He would not be able to word it now. For him, at the time, he could only express it in grief or anger. But in his heart, he knew. As a trickster, it was built into his nature, the core of his being. And I'm overjoyed to say that toward the end of things, it was barely within his grasp. I cannot tell you this exactly what it is, not straight out. I will not sum it up in a single word or a bullet point to make it simple. That is too easy. In his life, he bled for this, in his body and his heart. If you want to know, you will have to listen carefully, and you will have to think. Tricksters don't tell you straight out how it is. They will set you on a journey. But I am not one. I will show you, and maybe you can understand. For as much of this is about Cora, it is about us too, even more so. Even now, he has discovered the ultimate trick, seeing the greatest truth, and taking his first steps down the final road with us. It would be tragic to ignore the things for which he toiled for his whole life. For while we are here behind him, while he is among the grieving dead, I can tell you the final lesson he learned on the quest for his personal goal. It is the same one he started off knowing from the very beginning. Listen and you will hear. It is easy to love someone who is great in every way, who has few flaws and many friends. It is easy to be like a saint when you are in heaven. How great is that love? While all love is precious true, how much more difficult is it to love someone you can barely understand, someone with few perfections yet many flaws? How much greater is that love than the first kind? How much more difficult yet more meaningful can it be? Cora, I loved you like a brother. I still do, and I always will. Even with every single flaw and fault that others might try to hide or ignore. I've seen you do things both terrible and wonderful. I accept you as you are and as you were before, and where you will be in the future when we meet again, when we take our steps on that road. And I know that of all the people you love here, you do not believe that this many would show up for you at the end, and yet here they are. And that there are many others out here, myself included, that you love the same way as we love you. And you were never ashamed of this fact. Maybe, just maybe, the others love you the same way, but have been too blind to see it or too unwilling to admit it. If so, I hope they are willing to realize what you wanted from them and what you wanted them to see your entire life. To admit this, I do. And I see one more thing. Save your best trick for that.